right, so we're out here today with my buddy Dave Nilsson. Good guy. He served in the Navy back in the day. That's probably where some of your navigation skills were learned, I'm sure.
Yeah, never aboard ship though.
Okay, and then he went to Lockheed.
Yep, Lockheed.
To develop satellites. So a lot of the satellites out in our atmosphere are coming from this guy, and all the good work he did. Now he's the president of the hiking club down at Sun River and is the president for the Rotary.
Dixie Sunrise Rotary.
Rotary Club. So does a lot of great stuff in our area, but he's here to teach us the basics, and hopefully we'll leave here smarter and not more confused than when we started.
All right, let's go, Dave.
No guarantees.
I probably can't get worse, but you could probably confuse us more. That's just based on us, not you though, buddy.
Oh. Yeah, it's probably the other way around. So the compass has no batteries. You don't have to worry about losing power. And you can just about find anywhere you want to go. You can find where you want to go. You can find where you're at. There's a lot of things you can do with the compass just as long as you know how to use it. First thing is that there's two different kind of directions on a compass. There's true north, which points to the North Pole. And then there's also magnetic north, which is somewhere around Hudson Bay. This is where Magnetic Bay. That's kind of where the magnetic north is, and depending on where you're at, the declination between true north and magnetic north can be anywhere from 0 up to about 20 degrees. So it varies quite a bit. So that's one of the things you have to keep in mind when you're using one. So the compass it has degrees on it. Actually what a compass is, it's actually a compass and a protractor all in one. And what you do with the compass is measured in degrees from north. And as everybody knows, there's 360 degrees in a circle. So it's always measured from north around, it always goes clockwise up until you get to 360. So 180 is going to be south, 90 is going to be east, 270 is always going to be west. So that's kind of how it's all measured, and that's going to be your basic measurements for it. The biggest thing is converting the map, which is kind of a bird's eye view of the terrain that you're at, and trying to convert that to your real world. For instance, we have several peaks out here, little prominent ones. We have one out here that's off into the west, which is Jarvis Peak. And so we can take a heading off Jarvis Peak, and then we can look at it, because we know where we are on the map.
Yeah.
And then we can kind of take a look at Jarvis Peak, and that would be our goal. So what we have over here is we have the compass over here, and we have, if you look at it this way, you've got a red outline, and we actually call that the gate. So what you want to do is take your red arrow, which is always pointing to magnetic north, and you want to put that into the gate. So you keep that in the gate, and what you have is a dial here that turns. So once you keep that in the gate, you turn, which is actually your protractor, and you have an arrow here which is called your arrow of direction. So that's going to be always the direction you want to follow when you're actually tracking along. So you keep your arrow in the gate, and then you keep turning the protractor portion of it all the way until that arrow points right at Jarvis Peak. So you kind of see you've got it right on there, Jarvis Peak. And compared to north, Jarvis Peak is about 300 degrees.
Okay.
So we can take that now, and we can go onto our map. And one thing about maps unless they say something different, all maps, the top of the map is always pointing north. So the first thing you want to do is take your north-south lines, which is north is 0, like I said, and 180 degrees is south, and you want to line those up with the map. And then you want to take where you're at. We're going to assume we're right down here off of Brigham Road and Bloomington, so we'll just take that and we're going to point that up, and your arrow right in here, your arrow travel is now pointing right towards Jarvis Peak. So if you take that and go right out, you'll hit Jarvis Peak. So you can draw a line right through there. Sometimes you can use a ruler or whatever you have to extend that, but you draw the line right at 2, and then that would be Jarvis Peak.
Okay.
So you got Jarvis Peak on there, and so now we want to walk to Jarvis Peak, and let's assume we get on the other side of this mountain. We can't even see it anymore. We can still find it, because all we have to do is line up our magnetic arrow into the gate and follow the line, and we'll be right there at Jarvis Peak. So if you just keep following that line, you get right to Jarvis Peak. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. So anyway, so now you've got your point where you're starting right here. We'll assume that's your starting point, and we'll assume you're going to, your point to get to is Jarvis Peak.
Okay.
So there's Jarvis Peak, and so we can take this tool, line it right up just like that, and then you've got this neat little lines on here for north-south. Line those up, make sure that's north and south, and then that's going to give us the reading, which Jarvis Peak is right here, just about 300 degrees, maybe 310.
Okay.
Because this line over here and this line are always the same, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So you can always offset it here because they're all pointing in the same direction.
Okay.
They're all parallel. So if you assume it's 310 degrees, so that's the point that you have to get to
Okay.
from your starting point.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And then you would just
So
your compass.
yes.
Okay.
So even though we can't see Jarvis Peak, we'll assume we can't see it. So what we have to do is you just take your arrow again, line it up for magnetic, and then line up 310 degrees with the arrow, and then all you have to do is you keep that into the gate, you follow that arrow, and that will take you right to Jarvis Peak, right to your point.
Okay. Alright, so Dave here was just explaining triangulation to me, so I'm going to try to explain that to you. What is it? See one, do one, teach one. So here we go. Let's see if I can figure this out. So we've used our compass several times, and we've taken a bearing on Jarvis Point, and we know that that is 300 degrees away. So we translate that to the map. So we set our map to 300 here, or tool, sorry. And then we place north lined up on the map. So we get our north, south, east, west lines and we find Jarvis Point. And then we put our flat edge against Jarvis and we keep our north, south, east, west lined up. And so we've already drawn on the map, so we drew the line. So that's one line, and since I'm not on a known road, I need to take at least one other measurement. So we've picked another point with a different bearing. What was that bearing? 330.
330.
330. So then
Boomer's Hill.
we now change this to 330, and then we redo the same procedure, lining up north, south, east, and west here with our map. And then we find the Boomer's Hill, and we line that up, and then keeping this lined up, and then we draw a second line, which we already drew. And then when we move that, we can see where the lines intersect. That's where we are. So, can we say, like, if we're at Shivwitz, and then we need to go to, like, I don't know, this is all main road, but here, what is that? Castle Cliff. So then how do we find our bearing and then also calculate the mileage, because it's no longer a straight line?
Yeah.
So we put this on there.
Okay. Line up
We
north
use that.
first.
Line up north first.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we put that on Shivwitz.
Yep.
Okay, that's all lined up. And then leave that and put that on the cliff right there. So then our bearing would be uh 225,
225 is close, yeah.
right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so we would set that bearing and then we would take our scale and measure as best we can to find out the mileage?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so session 1 of map and compass navigation is in the books thanks to my new friend Dave Nielsen?
Nelson.
Sorry about that.
N-E-L-S-O-N.
Dave Nelson, my new friend Dave Nelson. He's been great at imparting some knowledge to me. We can now understand the compass and the map and find out where we are on the map and understand how to take a bearing and travel to that point on the map. So I'm feeling more confident, and he promises maybe another session down the road.
101 semester 2.
Yes, perfect. All right, so we're out here today on this beautiful, sunny, blustery, chilly day to just do a little team trail ride.
Yeah, we're gonna hit up East Rim. It's on obviously the east side of Sand Hollow. Fairly mild trail, ends at the dunes, but I think it'll be a good day.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've never been on the trail, being new to southern Utah, so we're ready to get into some fun.
exciting.